Welcome, happy Sunday. Welcome to my third in a series of Mondays stories from my perspective as the youngest member of the band and the escapades we got up to over the years. This week's story is set in Rio, Brazil, when we were booked to play the Rock in Rio festival in 1991 February, I believe. But the kind of issues started before we'd even left the UK, because the Brazilian tabloid press decided to print a front page story saying that we weren't musicians but drug dealers, and we were coming to flood Rio with ecstasy, which is utter nonsense, of course. We were musicians and nothing else. But each newspaper took it up, and we were on the front page of about 4 national newspapers which our press agent sent to us, which is a bit disturbing because we were all kind of concerned flying to Brazil and maybe the airport getting strip searched or something. So it was a little bit concerning. So when we hit Heathrow to get our flight, we kind of hit the bar a little earlier than usual. No, that's not true. We always kind of hit the bar. Anyway, they booked us on Yerrig Airlines, which is a national airline, first class. So we was in the lounge, free drinks, started drinking. And then we got onto the plane, and the first class area was upstairs. It was like something off a Love Boat. You go up and it was like a circular bar, and it just does there, free drinks. So we spent the whole, I think the flight was about 12 hours, the whole 12-hour flight just drinking. And so by the time we got to Rio, we was already well on our way. We arrived at the airport a little bit nervous, but nothing happened. We did a little bit of a really short press conference, and they ushered us through, never even hit customs, put us in our pickup vehicles and told us that all the bands were staying downtown Rio in this 5-star hotel, but us and Guns N' Roses, they'd moved to a hotel just on the edge of town, away from everybody else, on Copacabana Beach. Lovely hotel, but and I asked why, and they said, because we thought you two bands might cause trouble. Anyway, we get to the hotel, and we check in, and then we have a choice of rooms, and there's some real beautiful rooms around the pool, like bungalows around the pool. We could have them, or in the high rise. And I was thinking, I know what the party's going to go on here. I have a high rise one. Normally I'd go for one around the pool, but I knew it was going to get messy. So I said, I'll have a high rise one, 16 floors up. So I book a room. The rest of them, so the lads get around the pool, etc. So we do the usual. We all plan to meet in the bar 10 minutes later. We go and you drop your bags off, you have a shower, use the facilities later sent, get changed, head down to the bar. 10 minutes later I was in the bar, everyone was there, and the lads from Guns N' Roses were in the bar. I kind of recognised them because they were one of the biggest bands in the world at the time. Not really a fan of their music or knew the songs, but I'd seen them. So we started talking to them because we're musicians, and you do find some common ground. I started talking to Slash, and the first thing that struck me, I remember this, was that he was a big guy. He was big. He was a huge guy. I remember thinking, and I was quite obsessed by people's heights in them days, because the amount of people I'd met in music who I thought would be really tall were actually really small. And you think, and it's kind of wrong to make that judgment, because you think because there's so huge, big stars in your life and you see on the screen, you expect them to be big of stature when you meet them, and many weren't. And so it's not their fault. It's kind of the preconception you have yourself. But you remember him being big. So I remember thinking the top hat's usually a height distraction. It's a classic, but it wasn't in this case. So I was talking to him, and he was talking about Stoke and UK and football. And then I was talking to the bass player Duff, and I'm sat talking to him. There's a bar in the corner, MTV's on, and Guns N' Roses come on, and he jumps up, starts pointing, there's my band, there's me. I was like, yeah, you're the biggest band on the planet, of course. But he was still kind of cute. He was still excited by seeing his band and music on the TV. And then talking with, and this is about an hour or so in, and then some woman from the festival, artist liaison, brings this guy next to me. He's a short guy with like long gingerish, strawberry blonde gingerish hair, and she says, "This is Mr. Rose." And the penny didn't drop at first, and I said, "All right, okay." And I look around, and he wants to ask you something, and then it's Axl Rose. So he turns around to me and he says, "I'm not going to attempt to make an accent," but he said, "Are you guys selling X?" I remember him saying that, and I said, "X? What's X?" And it was what they called X. I said, "We call it E, they call it X." And I said, "No, we're musicians. We play music." He said, "So you're not drug dealers?" So I said, No. So his face became really disappointed and almost angry, and he kind of said, in a really disappointed and angry way, he said, "Oh, I thought you guys were drug dealers." And I just replied, "I thought you were taller." And he kind of looked at me, and if he'd punched me then, he'd had every right, but he didn't. Kind of just looked at me. I don't know whether he didn't understand my accent, or he just looked at me and then scurried away. And that was that. He wasn't after any. He just wanted to know the story. The sensationalisation that the Brazilian press had made of the whole situation. Anyway, we drank for another hour or so, and I thought, I'm going to get myself into trouble here. So we do our thing, and we wander out to different bars. I always like to find a local rough and ready bar, a little saloon bar where, you know, you get to know the locals in the bar. You sit at the bar, the barman tells you, and you get to know about your environment. And I did. I stayed there till 3 a.m. talking football with people in broken English. I have no Portuguese, but broken English. And I got weird. I hadn't eaten all day. I'd been drinking for over 20 hours by this point. So I decided to head back to the hotel. As I walk through the hotel, the music's getting louder and louder and louder and louder. As I go through to where the pool is, the party's in full swing. It's like the Hacienda or an Ibiza Club Tropicana vibe club night in Rio, and everyone's partying. It's nuts. And I thought, I'll swerve this, because if I get involved, I'll stay up all night. So I swerve it. I go up to my room. 16th floor, go in. It's boiling hot. Didn't want to use the air conditioning because I'm British. We don't use air conditioning. And I opened the window really wide and kept the curtains open, so there's a breeze coming in. 16 floors up. No one's going to see me. I just strip off naked and I lie flat on the bed, on the top of the bed, so it's so hot. These are days where I had long, dark, curly hair, very long, and a lithe body, almost feminine. And I just laid face down and was comatose. And I was woken by this kind of rattling of metal, and I thought, what's that? And I'm coming around, and I turn my head through my hair and I look, and I see outside the window them kind of truss, you know, that the painters use, or the window cleaners for high-rise buildings on that. And these two short men, remember these two small men, two men, because I could see them in the proportion of the window, two men in workers' clothes. One on the left was kind of looking round, and the other one was kind of looking straight at me, and was, how should I say, massaging himself in an inappropriate manner. You know, choking his chicken, poaching the egg, auditioning his finger puppets, you know, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, he was massaging himself in an inappropriate manner. And I kind of, as I was coming around, I was like, oh, and I jumped up and turned around. As I turned around, it became apparent to him and his partner that I was not female, but indeed male. And they just froze. And then he started. The one on the left who was looking out tried to lower the truss, and he couldn't do it because it was going like that, because he was only doing one side. And the other guy was just going like that, shouting Hail Marys and all that. And then he started trying to get it. And then, but it went from me, but it was on a slant. So I run over to the window, thinking they're going to fall. They're going to fall off. It's going to tilt. But they think I'm following them to show them more. Anyway, that passes, and I just think, oh Christ Almighty! So it's 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. I decided to go down for breakfast. So I wandered downstairs, hungover, trying to avoid any of the hotel staff eye contact, certainly the maintenance crew. And then I walk into the breakfast room thinking it's going to be empty, and all our full crew are there, everyone. Not one of them's been to bed yet, and they're all having breakfast. And the rest, and as I walk past the pool, there's people comatose on some beds, or on the floor, on towels. Everyone's comatose, but our lot are still up, and in the bar, everyone, crew, everyone. I'm in the restaurant having a full breakfast, and I look at them and I think, and I get a little tear in my eye, and I kind of got a bit proud, thinking, you know, we brought the party to Rio, from Manchester to Rio, and out-partied them. And I kind of got a little bit proud, and a little bit tear in my eye, and that's that. So that's the kind of story from Rio 1991. Naked drummers and us taking the party to Rio. So until next week, see you soon.